Hi, this is lesson 1 of my 3-part fast track starter series for saxophone, and this will get you set up and playing the saxophone in double quick time. I'm Paul Hollis and welcome to SaxExpress. Look, I'm on a mission to make learning songs on the saxophone as simple as possible. I want to help you get the best start and hopefully avoid too many of those bad habits. The sax, in my opinion, is the most rewarding instrument on the planet. I would say that, wouldn't I? But basically what you put in, you do get out. This lesson is going to take you from opening the sax case to playing recognizable songs, and you won't need to read a note of music thanks to the Presto Saxophone System, which we'll talk about a little later. By the end of this lesson, you'll be able to set up the saxophone correctly, learn how to fit the reed to get the best chance of a good tone, the correct mouth position, which is called the embouchure, and the best way to hold the sax. So, what are you waiting for? Let's open the case. Now, the first thing you notice is that the sax comes in several pieces which need to be assembled. And let's start by attaching the reed to the mouthpiece. If this is literally your first time playing the saxophone, then hopefully you've got some 1.5 or 2 strength reeds. And this number is usually found on the flat underneath part of the reed. The smaller the number, the easier the reed will be to play, but it may not give you the best tone. You'll come to learn the struggles we sax players have regarding the reeds and the mouthpieces. And if you want to know a little more about the mouthpiece, watch my video, Do You Know Your Mouthpiece, which I'll link at the end of this lesson. So before attaching the reed, you'll need to moisten it because reeds grow in wet ground and prefer it when they're a little moist. And I pop the thicker part of the reed into my mouth whilst grabbing my mouthpiece and the ligature, and that's this gold thing here which holds the reed in place. Now just before I attach the reed, I turn it around and then lightly moisten the thin end too. You don't want to over moisten this end because it can add a sizzle like sound to your sound when you're playing. If your reed gets too wet whilst you're playing, the best way to get that sorted is to just give a quick suck in like that. And if this doesn't work, then it may be time to take the reed off and give it a wipe down. Reeds are very delicate, so be careful when you're handling them because it can become very, very costly. It's now time to attach the reed. Now this is my method. I take the mouthpiece and ligature in my left hand, make a gap so that I can feed the reed easily under the ligature. And now you need to get this basically in place and then gently pull the ligature back just to trap it. And now using my thumb, my right thumb at the bottom, left thumb at the top, I push with my right thumb and waggle with my left thumb until I get the reed perfectly level with the tip of the mouthpiece. And once that's in place, I just tug the ligature back a little bit just to secure it more. But before tightening the ligature, I just check with my fingers to see that the reed is squarely on the mouthpiece. And then I give it a little tighten up, making sure that the ligature is back past the cut line on the reed. And this will allow the reed to vibrate to its optimum amount. But getting the reed to the right place is so important in making a good sound on the sax. It's like learning to tie your shoelaces. You'll be doing it without thinking very soon. Now that's sorted, it's time to fit the mouthpiece to the neck. And this is the neck. Most saxophone repairers I know advise fitting the mouthpiece to the neck before fitting the neck into the saxophone. And this prevents damage to this part of the neck and it can become quite loose. So you'll notice when you take out the main body that there is a little black thing, generally black thing in the end. It's a bung and it protects this little pin here at the back. Okay, it's worth popping that in each time you pack the sax away. Now fitting the neck needs to be very gentle and hold the neck around here and gently let it find its way in. I see many students waggling the neck and trying to force it in. Right, you need to make sure that this part of the the mechanism on the neck fits over the pin and not under it. This mechanism is used for the upper notes, and it's connected to this key here, which is called the octave key, and we'll come to this in a lesson 2. Okay, that's the sax assembled. Now you need to clip the saxophone to the sling. Slings or straps come in many varieties, and my advice is make sure you get one with a good padding on the neck part, otherwise it can become quite painful. If you have neck or back issues, then this type of sling can help. It takes the weight off the neck and puts it onto the shoulders. When the sax is securely on the sling, just let it hang free. All of the saxophone weight needs to be taken by the sling. And if you find that you are having to lift the sax up with your thumbs, then you need to tighten the sling a little. I advise looking forward and tightening the sling until the mouthpiece just sits on the bottom lip. Then nod your head forward and place the top teeth on the mouthpiece. You're now set to play a note. And with your top teeth on the mouthpiece, naturally open your mouth and make a whistle shape, pushing the bottom lip in at the sides, which will create a nice pad of lip under the reed. You don't want to tuck your bottom lip in over your teeth, as this will cause a much thinner sound. Now, gradually bring your lips around the mouthpiece to make a good seal in an O shape, and use the lip muscles only. If you're getting a line inside your lip, then that's a sign that you're using your teeth to add the pressure. Instead of blowing, I want you to breathe down the sax using the warm air, like when you're steaming your glasses. You can put your hand up in front of your mouth, blow cold air, and then warm air. And it's that warm air you need. So, teeth on the top, whistle shape, seal around the mouthpiece, and breathe. I want you to gradually increase the air pressure as you breathe. Notice that the muscles around the lips naturally get slightly tighter. And feel the pressure is being applied from the sides and not up and down. As soon as the sound appears, hold that pressure and the note. So let me just demo that. Now keep trying until you get a really nice, steady, even sound. Regular practice of these long notes will build the strength in your lips and give your brain a chance to understand exactly what is creating a good sound. Now the mouth shape is known as the embouchure, which I have also covered in depth in another video, which I will link at the end of this lesson. There are lots of useful videos on my SaxExpress channel, so why not hit the subscribe button and come and join us and get notified whenever any new content is released. Okay, once your tone is settled down, it's now time for the fun to begin. These are the 6 basic finger positions on the sax. First finger here, miss this little button and place the second finger here. Third finger goes here, 4 here, 5 and 6 here. Now earlier I mentioned the Presto system. It's an amazing, simple system, and it will have you playing songs in no time. It's this easy. 1 is for 1 key down, 2 for 2 keys down, 3 for 3 keys down, 4, 5 and 6. And it doesn't get any easier than this. Okay. A circle around a note simply indicates that this is a longer note. Why not try this? 1, 2, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3. See how easy it is? Now for one last but important thing before you play your first tune. If there are 2 notes of the same note side by side, then you need to use a technique called tonguing to separate the notes. For example, 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, the start of Scooby-Doo, needs to be played with the tongue to separate the notes. Okay, so all of those ones and twos need to be separated with the tongue. Now, the best way I've found to teach this is actually in reverse. So starting with a long note, I'm going to bring my tongue up to meet the tip of the reed, and the part that meets the reed is about 1 centimeter on from the tip of the tongue. Let me show you. It's like a valve action. Continue doing this over and over, and you'll soon work out how to start the note with the tongue. Right, here's a little bit of Imagine by John Lennon. So I'll play through Imagine phrase by phrase, and you can copy. And if you press the space bar, then you can pause the video each time until you've sorted that phrase. Now try starting each phrase with the tongue, and this helps give a little bit of definition. Don't forget, you can also slow the playback speed down by using the settings cog at the bottom right hand corner of the YouTube window. So here is phrase 1. Phrase 2. The next phrase. And the final phrase. Now have a go at the whole thing. You can press the spacebar and pause the video, or download the PDFs. I've put a download link in the description below to all of the songs in this lesson. John Lennon's friend Paul McCartney wrote a song called Mull of Kintyre. If you struggle to get the 6, that's okay. This is a low note and can be tricky at first. You need to make the same shape as if you were singing a low note inside your mouth. La. In fact, making the same shape to sing the exact pitch is even better. So we've got a 6. And the shape inside my mouth needs to be la. It's good practice to sing along in your head anyway. This will then create the correct throat shapes as you play. It can also help to run down the notes from 1 to get down to the 6 and then hold it. Make a note of the shape inside your mouth as well whilst holding that 6. Let me just show you. Is it all starting to make a little bit of sense now? Okay, I'll play through Mull of Kintyre, phrase by phrase, and you copy each phrase. Try starting each phrase once again with the tongue. This will help give more definition, as I mentioned earlier. Here's phrase number 1. Phrase 2. The next phrase. So how are you getting on? Please let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you, particularly on Presto. How about a bit of Elvis? This is the first section of Are You Lonesome Tonight? For this, I need to teach you a new note, and it's the symbol M. This M has a thicker left leg and simply requires the left middle finger only. Now, the tricky bit here is changing from the M to the 1 and making that nice and smooth. It's probably best to practice this 1 middle over and over until it settles down. Here's the first phrase. The next phrase. So I'll put the full version up right now. Press the space bar to pause the video, have a playthrough. Amazing work. You now have the fundamentals sorted to take your sax playing to the next level. And the next 2 lessons will amaze you because Presto is going to unlock many new songs. And if you've enjoyed this first lesson, please give it a thumbs up. Come and join the SaxExpress community by subscribing to the channel, and don't forget to leave me a comment. I'd love to hear from you. Oh, and before you go, don't forget that before you pack your sax away, you will need to pull through. If you haven't got a pull through, then either buy one or you can make your own. This is one with a microfiber cloth with a weighted piece of cord attached. Just feed the weight into the bell. Tip the saxophone upside down and the weight will drop out the end. And this will just take the moisture away from the pads and hopefully give them a longer lifespan. Okay, I'll see you in lesson 2.